Good day guys! Ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon is all about the internal guidelines on the implementation of a twice-a-month release of salary to Deped personnel. Opo, twice-a-month release of salary to Deped personnel. Date, October 27, 2021. Zoom lang natin. Secretary Leonor Magtolis-Briones approved the implementation of the twice-a-month release of the salaries of Deped personnel nationwide upon the recommendation of the Deped Central Office APDS Task Force through APDS Task Force Resolution No. 6/2021 entitled A Resolution Recommending the Approval to Utilize the Existing FOXPRO program of regional offices that implement the twice-a-month salary releases to Deped Regional Office proper. Number 2. To implement the salary release arrangement, the internal guidelines below shall be observed by all Deped payroll services units in the preparation of monthly payroll, which will reckon nationwide by January 2022 in consideration of other activities such as the tax adjustments on payrolls and coordination with the concerned Government Servicing Bank or GSB. However, this will not preclude the regions to implement it earlier either in November or December 2021. 2.1. The release of salaries of teachers and employees on a twice-a-month basis shall be implemented using the existing FOXPRO payroll program for payrolls prepared in the RPSU, subject to necessary adjustments by the SDDICTS. On the pay slips wherein the net take-home pay or NTHP shall be equally divided into two, except for the centavos, which will be credited on the 30th day of the payroll month. The heads of RPSUs are instructed to directly coordinate with the SDDICTS on the necessary adjustments of the payroll program. 2.2. The hash totals to be submitted to the respective GSBs shall likewise be split into two. All implementing units must inform their GSB counterparts in advance for this purpose. The schedule of salary releases shall be every 15th and 30th day of the month to provide ample time for the processing of Form 7 and other salaries, employee, profile adjustments to be submitted by the school's divisions. These documents must be submitted by the head of the administrative unit of the STO to the RPSU on or before the 7th day of the month. 2.4. All implementing unit secondary schools, IUSS, whether using FOXPRO, MX Excel, or any payroll program, shall likewise implement the twice-a-month salary releases starting January 2022 or earlier. And 2.5. Schedule of monthly remittances to BIR, PhilHealth, GSIS, Pag-ibig Bank, Land Bank of the Philippines, Deped Provident Fund, and other private entities shall remain the same. Number 3. Ideal timelines of the payroll process are shown below. Payroll process. A. Inclusion of monthly payroll worksheet and report of service or Form 7, the schedule, on or before the 7th day of the month. B. Updating of mandatory deductions, GSIS, Pag-ibig, and PhilHealth premiums, on or before the 7th day of the month. C. Updating of payroll database. Number 1. Inclusion of the newly hired personnel. Number 2. Adjustment of salaries due to promotions or step increment on or before the 7th day of the month. Number 3. Updating of names, stations, and other payroll records on or before the 7th day of the month. D. Inclusion of the following. Number 1. Deduction billings granted by the GFIS or GSIS, Pag-ibig, and Land Bank of the Philippines, Deped Provident Fund, APDS accredited entities, on or before the 7th day of the month. Reminder, all loan amortizations to be incorporated in the payroll must undergo the verification process by the Deped verifiers to ensure the implementation of NTHP requirement per GAA. Number 2. Obligations due to Deped, if any, such as payment of unliquidated cash advances, disallowances as decreed in the final and executory decision of COA and others, on or before the 7th day of the month. E. Generation printing and processing of the following documents. Number 1, payrolls. Number 2, summary of disbursements report or SDR. And 3, hash totals. 8th day to 13th day of the month. F, releasing of SDR and hash totals SDOs. 8th day to 13th day of the month. Submission of hash totals to the GSP net take-home pay for the 15th salary to 14th of every month and for the 30th salary to 29th of every month. Note, payroll processors are not prohibited to submit earlier the hash totals to the GSPs should this period fall on a weekend. H, printing of payslips, 3rd week of the month. I, release of payrolls and payslips to SDOs, last week of the month. Processing of monthly remittances to number 1, GFIS, including Deped Provident Fund schedule, must be released to concerned GFIS on or before 10th day of the succeeding payroll month. Number 2, APDS accredited entities schedule must be released to concerned entities within 30 days after each payroll month. Number 3, service fees deducted from the accounts of APDS accredited private entities schedule must be deposited to the Bureau of the Treasury within 30 days after each payroll month. Number 4, obligations due to Deped such as payment of unliquidated cash advances, disallowances as decreed in a final executory decision of COA and others schedule must be deposited to the Bureau of Treasury on the succeeding month. Number 5, salary overpayments collected over the counter with issued official receipt from the retired, resigned, and separated employees must be immediately deposited to the Bureau of Treasury. 6, all payroll processors are not precluded to adjust earlier the schedule per process, especially those regions with a large number of employees to be serviced, provided the release of salary every 15th and 30th day of the month shall be strictly followed. 7, the heads of each governance level from the region, schools, divisions, and IUSS shall be responsible for the fulfillment of this undertaking. 8, immediate compliance with and dissemination of this memorandum is directed. So this is the total of Memorandum OUF 2021-0703. Thank you for listening and have a great day ahead.